In January 1944, a Soviet detachment marched into a snow-covered village near Smolensk. It was supposed to be a routine stop, rest, resupply, and move on to the front. But by dawn, every soldier was dead. No enemy attack, no gunfire exchange, just silence, and the villagers, standing in the square, waiting for reinforcements that would never come. When the Red Army returned 2 days later, they found something impossible, no signs of a fight, and every rifle lined neatly along the frozen road, like the soldiers had surrendered before dying. Stay with me, because by the end of this story, you'll learn why the people of Novokrovka chose to kill their own defenders, and why their village was erased from every Soviet map that followed. The records of Novokrovka come from declassified NKVD field reports, dated January 23, 1944. The village had been occupied by German forces for nearly 2 years before the Soviets pushed them out. When the Red Army's 128th Infantry arrived, they were welcomed with bread, salt, and tears. But something in those faces wasn't quite right. Captain Yuri Mikhailov, who led the unit, wrote in his journal, "They smile too easily. The old men don't look at us. Only the children do." That night, the men celebrated. They drank, they sang, they felt like heroes again. But at 3 a.m., one soldier, Private Sergei Orlov, woke to the sound of a violin. It came from outside the barn where they slept. A slow, trembling melody, the kind they hadn't heard since before the war. When he peeked through the cracks, he saw the villagers, every one of them, gathered in the square. No torches, no movement. Just standing there staring at the soldiers' quarters. Then the violin stopped. At sunrise, Orlov was missing. The villagers said they hadn't seen him. Captain Mikhailov ordered a search, but the snow was fresh. No footprints, no drag marks, no sign of struggle. By midday, 2 more men vanished. Their rifles were found leaning against the barn door, and yet there were no signs of blood. That evening, a patrol discovered something in the church basement, a pit covered with hay. Inside, dozens of German dog tags, old Wehrmacht helmets, and Soviet uniforms burned to ash. Someone had already been burying soldiers here, long before the Red Army returned. When Mikhailov confronted the village elder, the man didn't deny it. He just said, "We already buried one army, we'll bury another if we must." That night, the soldiers posted guards, but no one made it to dawn. A messenger from a neighboring unit found the village 2 days later. Every Soviet soldier, all 23, lay dead in their bunks, no wounds, no bullet holes. Their faces were pale, their mouths open as if gasping for air. The only tracks in the snow led to the forest, dozens of them barefoot, heading east. But no villagers remained, not one. NKVD investigators were sent in immediately. They found the same eerie order, the rifles arranged, the rations untouched, the logs of sentry duty still neatly filled, and in the captain's final entry, they said the Germans made them do it once. Maybe they don't need orders anymore. The report concluded with one chilling note: village purged, no survivors, cause of death unknown, site restricted. Novokrovka was wiped from all records. Its name never appeared again on any Soviet map. But in 1987, a forestry team surveying the region stumbled upon remnants of old homes and a strange discovery. Under the frost, they found hundreds of bones, both civilian and military. Some were German, some Soviet, others unidentifiable. More disturbing, however, were the marks on the skulls, clean, circular depressions, almost as if the victims had been struck once, in perfect synchrony. One archaeologist, Dr. Elena Borskaya, claimed she heard whispers while excavating. She later described it in her notes. A hum, low and steady. It sounded like the cadence of marching boots beneath the ground. Her team left the site, within a week. To this day, no one knows what truly happened in Novokrovka. Was it revenge? Villagers turning on their liberators out of fear or hatred? Or something far older, a curse that consumed every army that dared to rest on that soil? Soviet rumor claims the Germans had built an experimental field radio tower there, something designed to manipulate morale through low-frequency sound. But there was never any proof. Others say the villagers had made a pact, that to survive 2 years of occupation they had to feed the war itself, soldiers, no matter the uniform. When the Red Army came, they simply continued the ritual. Whatever happened, the official silence says enough. Even decades later, Russian military archives list the area around Novokrovka as quarantined terrain. No construction, no travel, no explanation. Satellite scans show the remains of a single road cutting through dense forest and ending abruptly as if erased. And yet, hikers in the Smolensk region still report hearing faint music at night, a violin playing just beyond the tree line. Some even claim they've seen lights moving between the birch trunks, shaped like men in long coats. When they approach, the sound stops every time. Maybe the village didn't just kill its army, maybe it learned to keep killing. Because some places, once they've seen too much war, never go back to being villages again. What do you think happened in Novokrovka? Was it human revenge, or something the war itself left behind? Share your theory in the comments and subscribe to Relic Remnants for more untold wartime mysteries that history tried to bury.